Tom leases a car. Jake buys the exact same car. They both believe they made the smarter financial decision. But neither of them actually ran the long-term numbers. And when you finally do, the difference becomes much bigger than most people expect. Let's keep this completely fair. Tom and Jake both earn $55,000 a year. They both want the same $30,000 sedan. Same model, same trim, same dealership, same day. The only difference is what they sign. Tom signs a 36-month lease. $2,000 due at signing and $299 a month. The salesman tells him it's a great deal. Low monthly payment, brand new car, full warranty, and after 3 years he can simply hand the keys back and move on. Jake chooses a 60-month auto loan at 6% interest. He puts down $3,000 and pays $522 a month. That's $223 more every single month. Tom immediately feels like he won. His payment is lower, his bank account feels lighter, and is driving the same exact car for far less per month. But there's something he doesn't realize. Every dollar Jake spends is buying ownership. Every dollar Tom spends is temporary access. That difference sounds small in month 1. Over time, it becomes enormous. For the first 3 years, Tom feels brilliant. He always has a new car smell. Everything is under warranty. If something breaks mechanically, it's covered. No large repair bills. No surprise maintenance costs. His expenses are simple. Lease payment, gas, and insurance. Jake has a very different experience. He's paying $522 every month while watching the car lose value almost immediately. The second he drives off the lot, the car drops from $30,000 to roughly $27,000 in value. By the end of year 1, maybe it's worth $23,000. Year 2, around $20,000. Meanwhile, his loan balance is still sitting near $22,000. For the first couple of years, Jake actually owes more than the car is worth. That's called being underwater. Psychologically, it feels terrible. Tom notices this. Other people notice this too. On the surface, leasing looks smarter. Now let's run the actual numbers through year 3. Tom paid $2,000 down, 36 payments at $299 total. About $12,764. Jake paid $3,000 down, 36 payments at $522 total. About $21,792. Tom spent roughly $9,000 less. At this point, leasing appears to be winning by a mile. But year 3 is where everything changes. Tom's lease expires. Now he has 3 options. Option 1. Buy the car for the residual value, usually around $16,000 to $18,000. Option 2. Hand the car back and walk away. Option 3. Lease another brand new car and restart the cycle. Most people choose option 3. Tom does too. Another $2,000 due at signing. Another 36 months. Another $299 payment. The odometer resets to 0. The payment counter doesn't. Now look at Jake. He's 36 months into a 60-month loan. He still has 24 payments left, which feels frustrating. But there's a major difference. Jake has a finish line. Every payment moves him closer to owning the car outright. Tom's payments move him closer to returning the car and starting over. That's the part monthly payment conversations completely hide. Leasing is a cycle. Buying eventually ends. Month 60 arrives. Jake makes his final payment. That's it. The car is officially his. No more loan. No more monthly payment. From this point forward, his only costs are insurance, gas, and maintenance. For a normal sedan, average maintenance might run $100 to $150 a month over time. Oil changes, tires, brakes, occasional repairs. Meanwhile, Tom is still making that $299 payment every month. It doesn't even feel unusual anymore. That's one of the biggest dangers of leasing. A permanent car payment slowly becomes normal. Background noise. But background noise still drains money. Now let's check the scoreboard at the end of year 6. Tom has completed 2 full leases. His total spending looks roughly like this. $2,000 down on lease, $10,764 in payments, $2,000 down on lease, $10,764 in payments total. around $25,528. And he owns nothing. No title. No asset. Just receipts. Jake paid $3,000 down, about $31,320 in loan payments total. Around $34,320. But now he owns a car worth approximately $11,000 to $13,000. If you subtract the car's value from his total spending, his effective cost lands closer to $21,000 to $23,000. Quietly, the entire comparison flips. Tom spent more and owns nothing. Jake spent less overall and owns an asset. And every month after that pushes the advantage even further toward Jake. The dealership always focuses on one number: the monthly payment. That's the number in commercials. The number on the website. The number written on the paper and slid across the desk. What they don't focus on are the conditions attached to that payment. Mileage caps. Most leases allow around 10,000 to 12,000 miles a year. Sounds reasonable until you realize the average American drives closer to 13,500 miles annually. Go over the limit and the penalty is usually 15 to 25 cents per extra mile. Drive 5,000 extra miles over the lease term and suddenly you owe another $750 to $1,250 at the end. Then there's wear and tear. The dealership inspects the car when you return it. Door dings. Wheel scratches. Coffee stains. Interior damage. All potentially billable. And the definition of normal where belongs to the leasing company, not you. Then comes the disposition fee. Most people don't even know this exists. When you return the vehicle without leasing another car from the same dealer, they often charge a fee simply to process and resell the car. Usually $300 to $500. You're literally paying them to take the car back. And if your life changes mid-lease, job loss, moving, family issues, getting out early can become extremely expensive. You're locked into the contract. Now, to be fair, buying also has real downsides. Once the warranty expires, everything becomes your responsibility. Brakes wear out. Tires need replacement. Belts crack. Air conditioning systems fail. Some years are cheap. Other years bring a $2,000 repair bill that destroys your month. That unpredictability stresses people out. With a lease, the costs usually feel cleaner and more predictable. And depreciation is real. A brand new car loses value incredibly fast. Your $30,000 sedan may only be worth $12,000 after 5 years. But something important happens after those first few years. Depreciation slows down. A 5-year-old car doesn't lose value nearly as aggressively as a brand new one. That means time slowly starts helping the buyer instead of hurting them. Now let's stretch this out over a full decade. Over 10 years, Tom leases 3 or 4 different vehicles. Each cycle costs around $12,000 to $13,000 in payments and fees. Add mileage penalties, disposition charges, and wear and tear costs, and Tom's total spending after 10 years lands somewhere around $45,000 to $52,000. At the end of that decade, he still doesn't own a vehicle. He always has a payment. Jake pays around $34,320 for the original loan. Then he spends perhaps another $10,000 to $14,000 over the next several years on maintenance and repairs. Total 10-year spending. Around $44,000 to $48,000. But unlike Tom, Jake still owns a car worth maybe $4,000 to $6,000. It's older. It's not exciting. But it's paid off. When you net everything out, Jake usually comes out ahead financially. Depending on repair luck, lease terms, and ownership length, the gap can easily become $15,000 to $25,000 over just 1 decade. And that's only one car. Most people repeat this process multiple times throughout adulthood. 3 cars. 4 cars. 5 cars. Over a lifetime, the gap between habitual leasing and buying can quietly grow into 6 figures. Now, leasing isn't automatically bad. There are situations where it absolutely makes sense. If you own a business or are self-employed, lease payments may be partially deductible depending on how the vehicle is used. That tax advantage can dramatically change the math. Leasing also makes more sense for high-end luxury vehicles where maintenance outside warranty becomes extremely expensive. Leasing a BMW or Range Rover is a different conversation from leasing a Honda Civic. And there's another important point. If Tom actually invested the $223 monthly difference between leasing and buying into index funds earning 8% to 10% annually, he could potentially close the gap or even come out ahead over a long timeline. But that only works with real discipline. Most people don't invest the difference. They spend it. That's the part many comparisons conveniently ignore. For the average person driving an average car, buying and holding usually wins financially. It's not flashy. Nobody brags online about driving a paid-off sedan. But the math doesn't care about excitement. Tom believed he was saving money because his monthly payment was lower. Jake believed he was building wealth because he was buying an asset. Neither of them truly understood the long-term picture when they signed the paperwork. And that's the real lesson here. The trap isn't leasing. The trap isn't buying. The real trap is making a $30,000 financial decision based only on a monthly payment without calculating what the choice actually costs over 5 years, 10 years, or an entire lifetime. Because when someone slides a low monthly payment across the desk and it feels too good to be true, there's one question you should always ask. What will this really cost me when everything is finished? That's the number that actually matters.